Hey everybody, Chris Fafalius here. If you enjoy One Hit Thunder, which I'm assuming you do considering you're listening to it right now, I want to tell you about another great music podcast on the Evergreen Podcast Network. It's called Riffs on Riffs. On this season of Riffs on Riffs, hosts Toby Braswell and Joe Watson are breaking down one iconic pop song each week. Everything from Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer to Journey's Don't Stop Believin' to Naughty by Nature's OPP. Each week, they crack open the song, trace its history, decode those cryptic lyrics, and unearth the hidden gems in its musical DNA. Not only do they dive into the song's history, lyrics, and impact, they also go down some fun and oftentimes hilarious rabbit holes. So yeah, if you're a fan of One Hit Thunder, I think you'll also enjoy Riffs on Riffs. So go hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your pods. If you've ever seen an attractive woman appear in a movie or TV show, chances are you're familiar with Yello's iconic song, Oh Yeah. This quirky, experimental band stumbled into international fame thanks to well-placed film features, yet never managed to replicate its success with another hit. This week, since Patreon voted for it, Matt and I ask, did this shockingly prolific group even want another hit?
One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever. And it makes me wonder, is it just a wonder, or is it one hit thunder?
Oh yeah, the moon, beautiful. Bow, bow.
Are we just going to do that for this whole episode?
That's what we can mostly do.
Matt, is this the song that has played in your mind every time you've seen a set of bodacious breasts? You're like bouncing.
It's insane. Like when you look at all the ways, like this is easily the go-to song for like excess, right? Like it's like Ferris Bueller, they're looking at the Ferrari in like The Secret of My Success. It's the song before like Michael J. Fox is about to have sex with his boss's wife. It's the theme song for Duff Man when he bursts into any place for The Simpsons. Like it's just anytime that it plays, it is the sign of like, oh no, it's going down and it's going to be great.
I kind of feel like it's the official song of I'm horny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can we listen? We're going to talk a lot about one particular person from the band Yello, but can we just appreciate that the singer of this band has the most Swiss name imaginable with Dieter Meier?
Dieter Meier. Yeah. This is I guess the only Swiss band I know. And I'm glad it's Yello. Yello being a combination, I learned this, it is a neologism, or neologism, I should say, which is when a word or phrase becomes accepted into mainstream language based on, I don't know, it's like, I guess right now, if like Riz, like what Riz is, it's something that people said and it became like a mainstream thing, and Yello was a yelled hello, like when you yell hello, Yello. That's
you know what?
Is.
It never dawned on me until you started to explain it just now, because I even read that and I didn't like fully grasp what it was saying. But like, because I just thought it was like the color, but without the W at the end. But I'm now, to go back to The Simpsons, which I've already referenced once, I'm thinking of when Homer like picks up the phone and goes, Yello. Like it's like that like you literally yell the word hello, and for some reason when you do it, you also add a Y instead to the name.
Sure. Yeah, that's what it is. So we got that out of the way. But we mainly are here to talk about Dieter Meier, even though Boris Blank, I think, is kind of the musical genius behind the operation. But Dieter, I'm sure, Matt, that you watched the Todd in the Shadows video about Yello.
Yeah.
I'd read a lot of this stuff too, but he talked about it too, that this guy is wild. He was like a millionaire who's also a gambler, like a professional gambler, a golfer. He owned a chocolate factory. He made watches. He did all this stuff, which I guess if you're going to be a multimillionaire, if I was a multimillionaire, I would want to live this sort of life.
Yeah.
Just making things, doing crazy things. And the fact that Yello has made 14 albums is no surprise, because why would you stop?
Yeah.
What's your reason to stop?
Yeah, there's no reason to slow down. The way that the band basically breaks down, there were 3 members, but as far as most people are concerned, Yello is these 2 people, right? It's Dietermeyer and it's Boris Blank. Dietermeyer providing the vocals and most of the lyrics to the song, while Boris Blank provided all of the music. I love this little factoid that I read, though, that Yello, while most of their music is categorized from unusual music samples, they rarely use samples from previously released music. Nearly every instrument has been sampled and re-engineered by Boris, who over the years built up an original sample library of thousands named and categorized appropriately. So, like, it's kind of similar to, like, what, for comparison in a much more, like, mainstream understanding, what the Beastie Boys did with, like, Check Your Head, where they, like, set up these elaborate jam sessions and would just record these like 2-hour jam sessions and then comb through those jam sessions and find like the 30-second snippet that they wanted to sample to do a song like So What You Want or like Jimmy James. I think that's essentially what Boris does, is that he just records nonstop music and then like finds these little parts that he likes and samples and loops those and creates songs out of like his jam sessions.
Well, also to compare it to a past band, or I guess I should say, I think they're a duo that we did on One Hit Thunder before, the Avalanches.
I was going to go with, yes, with the sampling, the Avalanches. I was going to say this band reminds me a lot of Was Not Was in just how strange and experimental and weird they are, and that it's also like a duo. But they're like a duo with a bunch of hired guns. This is like a duo in the truest sense. This is like the Postal Service.
What's interesting about experimental, artsy music like this is that you, especially if you have the time and you stick with it, you're eventually gonna just by accident create your oh yeah. Like, it's just going to happen if you just keep making things. Because I listened, dude, they have so many music videos because they also are very into making these avant-garde, artsy music videos. And, you know, like the other song that they had that was actually a top 10 song, I think in Europe, England or whatever. Oh, in the UK singles chart. Yeah, The Race peaked at number 7, which is actually the bigger song in the UK. They featured that music video, or was it that music? No, it wasn't that music video. It was that music video for that song, that Pinball Cha-Cha song.
Yeah.
That was featured as part of an exhibit at the MoMA and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're very art.
Even honestly, even watch the video for Oh Yeah. I think that because the song was popular enough to be played on MTV, you don't think about how avant-garde and weird that video is. But like if that video had just dropped today without warning, everyone would be like, what is this fucking weird video where it's just 2 dudes in a dark room with like lights shining onto their faces as they just like hold up shapes and like wander. Like it's a weird video. But it works for the song.
I love that you talked about Dieter being the lyricist for this band. His lyrics for this song, as I have them pulled up: oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. The moon, beautiful. The sun, even more beautiful. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah. Chicka chicka, oh oh.
Well,
that is all the lyrics.
Here's a quote from Boris, though, about the composition of the song, Oh Yeah. He said, "First, I did the music, and I invited Dieter to sing along, and he came up with some lyrics, which I thought, no, Dieter, it's too complicated. We don't need that many lyrics. I had the idea that it's just this guy, like a little fat monster sitting there very relaxed being like, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I told him, why don't you just try to sing along and say, oh yeah. And Dieter was very angry with me. And I told him this, and he said, are you crazy? The whole time just saying, oh yeah, are you crazy? I can't do this. No, come on. And then he said, how about I say some of the lyrics, like the moon beautiful? Would that be too much? And I said, no, Dieter, that's okay. And then he did this. Oh, yeah. And then at the end, he thought, you know what? Yeah, that's nice. Dieter loved it himself. I also wanted to install lots of humorous noises, the kind of phonetic rhythms with my mouth and stuff. So you hear lots of noises in the background, which have all been done with my own mouth.
We in bands and artists out there have been overthinking it for way too long. Just get in there, say a few words, make a few mouth sounds. I mean, and you can have this hit. This song is so synonymous with, like Matt said, be it a sexy woman or I guess this could be used for a sexy man, some muscular man walking into the
Yeah, that's when Duffman walks in with all of his ladies.
Yeah. Right. You could have a hit like this. Did you happen to listen to the first song they ever released, their first ever single, IT Splash?
I didn't listen to IT Splash. I listened to the other one that's like Bristol or whatever. It's like he's almost like rapping in it. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was from around the same time. But
yeah.
IT Splash, I tried to mark down everything I was hearing in the song. I heard laughing, car sounds, some random guitar riffs here and there, a guy talking over top of everything, some synths, like just some stabs, and some drum rolls. That's what the song was. And it wasn't super listenable, but it was from 1979 and did set the stage for what would eventually, you just keep combining these sorts of sounds. And like I said, you're eventually going to stumble on an oh yeah, it's going to happen sooner or later if you have the means to just keep making, I mean, it's music, yes, but it's more like an art piece.
Yeah.
And you're eventually going to stumble across something that resonates with people. So I would say just keep at it is the most important thing if you're trying to create a hit.
Well, I think the other thing that's important to address when discussing Yello and Oh Yeah is this is like one of those really interesting examples of, I think that everyone agrees that this is a one-hit wonder and they agree that this song was a hit. The only thing that doesn't agree with that is its actual Billboard chart standing, right, where it peaked at 51. But I think that that's where things get murky sometimes with this show, because the success of this song is not that it was played on the radio a bunch or that it was, you know, a big chart topper. It's just that it was an inescapable song for about 3 decades in movies and TV and commercials.
This song is bigger than a Billboard chart standing.
Yes.
And it's so big and synonymous with the things we were talking about that if Matt and I were making a movie, like a comedy movie together, and there was a scene where a sexy woman walked in and we used oh yeah, that would be like hack.
Yeah,
that would be
it's hacky.
It was like we couldn't think of something better than that.
Did you see that? I looked up this commercial actually, that last year the song was used for a McDonald's campaign that was directed by Edgar Wright.
Nope, I did not know that.
You know who Edgar Wright is, obviously, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. He did this McDonald's commercial, and I watched it, and it's definitely, it makes sense why they brought in Edgar Wright. It feels like it was hot off. They wanted to do something similar to Baby Driver, is what I'm guessing. But it's a bunch of cars stuck in traffic, and this starts playing, and each driver turns and looks at the car next to them, and right when the like boat part happens, their eyebrows pop up, and then that person nods and looks at the next car, and they have their eyebrows do it, and then they finally look at like a girl, and she like brings down her glasses and is like, oh yeah, and then the light turns green and they all drive into the McDonald's.
I can't believe it took like 13 minutes into this episode to talk about, yes, this song is also synonymous with slightly pulling down your sunglasses and looking over them. Why is that? This is probably the number one song for pulling down sunglasses.
But it made me think, Chris, something similar to this. Like, we're talking about a song that barely peaked on the charts, really, and it's huge because of how it's used in so much stuff. Are there songs that you feel like are embedded in your brain as if they were a huge hit, but in reality, they're just like a song that you vaguely remember because of a commercial? Because one that recently came to me was the band Trio. And their song Da Da Da, which I only associate with a Volkswagen commercial.
That is such a good comparison to this song. Like, what are they? They German? Is that what they are? I think
they're German too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Da Da Da.
Right. It's just so like, and I mean this in like a good way, but it's just so dumb. Like this song's just so dumb, but it's also so awesome. You're like, you didn't overthink it. They weren't trying to make something like, oh, this is so beautiful. This is such a beautifully well thought out song. It's just,
I almost want to look it up real quick because I'm sure this show's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm sure that one of these days we'll end up doing an episode on Trio as well. But I want to pull up the lyrics to Trio's Da 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 real quick.
I think it's just Da Da Da.
No, there's one. There's like one other lyric in the song. Let's see. So it's all mostly in German. That's why I don't know what they're saying. I just remember it's like lish 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 lish.
Oh, right.
That happens in the background too.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it's da 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 and then some random German here and there. It's insane.
You know, maybe it only hit number 51 on the U.S. Hot 100. One spot that week, I will say, Matt, above Luca by Suzanne Vega.
Well, I mean, listen, it's slightly less sad than Luca, so I can see why it was one spot higher.
But this album, Stella, now they put this song on 2 albums in a row. So they had it on an album, and then it became huge because of the movie placements, and then they put it on the next album too. But the album Stella went to number 1 in Switzerland in 1985, and it was the first album ever by a Swiss group to top the Swiss album chart. Is there that little amount of Swiss music that no Swiss album would have ever went to number 1 in Switzerland? Or do they just dislike music from their country that much?
I'm going to search Swiss bands right now. I'm going to see if I recognize a single name. The Music of Switzerland Wikipedia page is what
there has to be somebody.
Music of Switzerland, it says mostly known for folk music, but pop and rock came in the latter part of the 20th century. Don't know this group. The Beatles and stuff inspired a couple like spin-off bands, but I don't know. Man, maybe they just were really, because it says like all these other bands were like inspired by how popular the Beatles were in Switzerland. So I think it's just like in the 60s, American music started making its way into the country, and there were like copycat bands that probably sold all right, but I'm imagining didn't sell nearly as well as like the bands that they were copycatting off of. And then Yello just like out of nowhere blew up with Oh Yeah.
Hello, Tom May here, host of Future Friday. I've spent the last 15 years on the road with my band, The Menzingers, where I've met all kinds of wild and fascinating people. So I started a podcast. On Future Friday, I talk to fellow musicians about the moments that made them, their passions outside of music, and the curiosities that tie us all together. I've also talked to the likes of UFO researchers, magicians, soldiers, and documentary filmmakers, and I'm constantly searching for folks that can shape and change our view of the world. You can check out Future Friday wherever you like.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bruce.
And I'm Nolan, and this is the Corner of Gray Street podcast. As longtime Dave Matthews Band fans, we set out to create a podcast to dive deep into the past, present, and future of DMB.
Not only do we recap and review shows within an ongoing tour, but we revisit past shows from throughout the band's history, conduct interviews with a wide variety of guests with ties to DMB, and create unique and exclusive content like our Concerts on the Corner series.
Whether you're a fan of the band or just a fan of great music, we think you'll find something you'll enjoy. We can't wait to see you on the Corner of Gray Street.
Hey Mark, I was listening to Paramore the other day, and it really made me think about the amygdala and the limbic system.
You just made those words up, didn't you?
What, Paramore?
We're the Nevermind the Music podcast, where one musician
And one psychologist.
talk songwriting and the mind, one song at a time.
We'll hear everything from Green Day and Outkast
To Stevie Wonder and Dua Lipa,
and we mostly try to stay on topic.
except for when we don't want to.
Never mind the music, wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, I got to tell you that Yello has been waving that Swiss flag for. They're still together. They're still putting out music. I watched recent music videos. I watched a video for a song from 4 years ago called Wabba Dubba, and it was completely ridiculous. It was like wabba dubba, wabba dubba, wabba dubba, wabba dubba, and just the music video was just as insane as anything they've ever made. Boris Blank, from this year where we're recording this, 2024, I listened to some of his solo songs that are on the Yello YouTube page. Elements of Life is very atmospheric music, and honestly, it was like pretty cool. He had a song called Angel Bass, same thing, moody. Seems like something if you were going to meditate, or if you were going to like a some sort of I don't know, healer, and you were in the lobby, they would be playing this.
Okay. I feel like, and I didn't really think about this at the time, but in that Todd in the Shadows video that I watched, which I believe came out in 2020, I'm pretty sure he mentioned that at the time that he was making that video, they had just played their first ever live show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird, except the more I think about it, the more it does make sense. Like, why would you even take Yello on the road ever? Like, why wouldn't it just be like you and your rich friend hanging out in a studio, just making weird music and shooting strange videos, and then immediately just like moving on from there to make more weird music? Like, it doesn't feel like, to me, with the exception of Oh Yeah, as much as I kind of found a lot of their music fun, like, it doesn't really feel like they're creating music for live performances or for like re-listenability. It's making something in the moment when they feel inspired to make it, and then just moving on to the next thing.
I would gonna have to go completely disagree with you and say that this is so conducive to a live show, especially one like with a rave atmosphere and weird drugs. Like, could you imagine if you were on a weird drug and the people that wrote Oh Yeah were performing Oh Yeah?
Oh, give me the Vaseline, Chris. Give me the Vaseline right away.
Oh, by the way, PJ corrected me. It's not Vaseline that people put on their faces during raves for certain drugs. It is Vicks Vapo Rub.
Oh, okay.
Because of the cooling effect of it or whatever.
Well, that makes sense as well. For the sake of this show, we're still going to say Vaseline.
Yeah.
It's been the joke for 5 years and we're not stopping. But
I would gladly cover my face in Vaseline if I had the chance to see Yello perform Oh Yeah live. It'd be such a hard song to cover, too. Has anybody covered this song?
No, Punchline should get on that right away.
Bow, bow, chicka, 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 chicka. Man.
That dude, I'm not sure if you've picked what song you should walk out on the stage for that 30-year Action Anniversary show, but I'm gonna say it should be "Oh Yeah" by Yello.
Has anyone covered? I gotta know. Yello, oh yeah, covers.
Well, there was a tribute remix album dedicated to the band released in 1995 called "Hands on Yellow," and it was a bunch of DJs I didn't recognize any of the names of except for Moby. Moby showed up on a tribute album to Yello.
Of course, Moby was inspired by by this.
There's also, I didn't have time to watch it, but I'm curious, is that in 2005, there was a documentary about them called Electropop Made in Switzerland that was released. So,
right. Hey, can I talk about Moby for 1 second? What was the story about Moby, like, saying he dated what he said he dated Natalie Portman, and then she was like, no, he didn't. Was it something like that?
I think that there was a weird thing like that. Yeah. Moby, there was another thing similar to that. Did you ever see the documentary American Hardcore about the 80s hardcore scene?
No, I have not.
Okay. It's pretty interesting. Like, it's breaking down how all these bands on the different coasts or whatever. But there's a shot, they interview Moby in the documentary. Wow. And Moby's saying how he, like, played bass and sang for the band Flipper a couple times. And then it immediately cuts to one of the members of Flipper. He's like, Moby was never in our fucking band. Like, so dude. I don't know if Moby has this, like, low-key, can't help but lie about, like, weird shit that can be easily backed up and researched. But
dude, isn't it? I just had this conversation with my friends, which I feel like I've had many times, but isn't it so weird when people just compulsively lie?
Yep.
That's like the weirdest thing in the world to me, to lie about stuff.
And yeah, it was 2019. Moby apologizes to Natalie Portman after claiming that they dated.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, if you had a funny reason to say something, or if you wanted to, like, play a trick on somebody, or there was some sort, but just to make yourself sound cool, say that you dated somebody, that's so strange.
Well, especially because, like, his claim was that he dated Natalie Portman when she was 18 and he was 33. Like, it's kind of a weird thing to want to be the person claiming that information. Yeah. Like,
what?
He's a strange man. I saw Moby in person one time, but I didn't say anything to him. When I was in LA, I was meeting up with a cousin who was living out there briefly, and she recommended this, like, vegan breakfast place, and it was owned by Moby. And while we were eating breakfast, he was in the corner going over the books.
It'd been awesome if Moby walked over to your table like, everything okay?
Yeah, like a Friendly's manager.
Welcome to Moby's. I wish you had took your order. Cooked your egg. Cooked your
I
vegan
wish he named
meal.
his place Moby's. Like, his name already sounds like it would be a fast food place anyway.
Moby's. It'd be awesome if you walked into Moby. When you walked into Moby's, you heard, oh yeah, bow bow. I don't know why that's funny, but it's funny to me to think about walking into Moby's restaurant where Moby is working and oh yeah is playing. Why
it's
is that
all
funny?
Moby's music with the exception of Yello, oh yeah.
All photos of Moby and Natalie Portman on the wall, poorly photoshopped. Or Moby singing for a hardcore band on the
wall. This is my favorite tangent we've ever gotten lost into. Holy shit. I think we've hit that point.
We got to make a decision on Yello. I watched a lot of their music videos because I was trying so hard to, like, find another one, to find another oh yeah, and I did not find it. And
no, I didn't hate anything that I heard.
No, I didn't hate anything. I like weird stuff. So
yeah,
this is right up my alley. And it isn't, like, too avant-garde or abstract to where if you put it on, it's like, oh, it's not like that.
There's nothing that's to go back to the was, not was of it all. remember when we were like deep diving into their music at your house, and it was like you would find these like funky songs that did kind of feel like Walk the Dinosaur, and then you'd find the shit like Help Me Dad, I'm in Jail, where it's just like 2 minutes of like insane saxophone and a guy just like yelling Help Dad, I'm in jail over and over again. Like they never had a Help Dad, I'm in jail when I was diving into their music.
Yeah, there's not that. So here's the deal. If you like abstract music that maintains the beat, it doesn't get too wonky with the beat, and a man goes over top of that in a deep voice and sings and then there's some other assorted samples of things, not always even musical things. Could be car horns, could be musical things that are music from other parts of the world sometimes, and would really go along well with an art exhibit. I think that's what you're getting yourself into with Yello. And you might watch some pretty entertaining music videos too. If you want to watch two goofy guys having a great time making art, this is your thing here. And I do think that I think I saw Todd say this too. Maybe they don't get as much credit as maybe they should as being like pioneers of like electronic music, because they're on the cutting edge of it. They
are.
Their first single came out in 1979.
Yeah, I think that what I'm gonna play my hand now. I think I'm gonna give them Thunder, and I think I'm gonna give them Thunder for this reason. When I give somebody a blunder, it's usually because A, they're not a good person, and I don't want people streaming their music and giving them money in their pocket, or that I genuinely think that there is nothing interesting to find deeper in their catalog. I'm not going to sit here and say that Yello has these amazing songs that you need to hear, and if you haven't heard them, your life is like missing something. But I think that it's a fun journey. If you're curious to know what more songs by this band sounds like, you're going to have a pretty fun time going down that road. You're not going to be suffering down that road. You're going to enjoy your hour or so of exploration. So I'm going to say Thunder. Do what Chris did, find their YouTube channel, just click into some music videos and like have a good time. Like you're not going to be miserable for that hour.
I wouldn't discourage the Yello rabbit hole dive. Yeah. I wouldn't discourage it, but don't get your hopes up either that you're going to find another song like this one. But as far as whether I give them Thunder, oh, yeah.
Why is he right when I say goodnight to you and you're never there? I'm awake.
This has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is hosted by Chris Ophaios of the band Punchline and produced by Matt Kelly of Geekscape.net. Underneath me, you're hearing Why Is He Right off the Punchline album Action. Visit punchlinemusic.com for any upcoming news on the band. Our podcast is on Patreon now. Find us at patreon.com/OHT podcast for early access to episodes, bonus conversations, and a chance to vote on future songs for us to cover. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on any podcasting app, and tune in next week for more One Hit Thunder.
If I haven't already made it, do you think you could take it?
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Hi, this is Chad Nicefield.
And this is Justin Press.
We're the host of Making Waves, the Shiprock podcast, a part of the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. We're inviting you to sail away with us on an epic journey in musical enlightenment. Every week, we bring you only the best artists in rock music and discuss everything from the cruise, to the stage, to the saga of being a professional recording artist. We'll have lots of special guests along the way, so tune in every week.
Your stateroom is available every Monday morning, so welcome aboard.
This is Krista Makes, guitarist and vocalist for Less Than Jake, and host of Krista Makes a Podcast. a songwriting podcast where every week I'm joined by an amazing guest to break down the writing, recording, and release of one iconic song from their career. In our giant evergreen back catalog of episodes, we've had rock legends such as Dee Snider and Huey Lewis, punk rock favorites like Mark Hoppus, Fat Mike, and Brett Gurewitz, and up-and-coming artists of today such as Liz Stokes of the Beths and Genesis Owusu. We've had guests from all genres and styles of music, and I guarantee that if you peruse our back catalog, you'll see several episodes that'll make you say, man, I gotta hear that. Whether you're a fan of music or a creator of music yourself, you'll take away a whole new appreciation for the songs you know and love. Chris Makes a Podcast is available for free on all the places you could possibly listen to podcasts, and new episodes come out every Monday.